Welcome to ALR Silver. Oh dear, we just had somebody go off the circuit there. But welcome along to ALR Silver Season 5, of course. We are in Round 6, the last round of 2022, the year that is, not the game. Of course, we have got a Christmas break, or a winter break, I should say, coming up in just over a few weeks' time, or for a few weeks' time, I should say, really. It's not over a few weeks' time. It is going to be from next week onwards, really. But of course, yeah, taking a bit of a winter break, as they do in real F1 as well. But it won't be for so long. It won't be for 3 months. It will be for 3 weeks or so. I think it is 3 or 4 weeks. Not too long at all. But yeah, like I said, we're going to be getting into round 6. We're a quarter of the way at the end of this race, of course. A quarter of the way through the season as well. It has flown by, in my opinion. Maybe not for some other people, but it seems like it's flown by for Kia, who's having a bit of trouble staying on the circuit there in P. Or he's just come out on the track. He's in P3 at the moment, but not set a time just yet. But yeah, just needs to make sure he gets out of the way of his teammate coming through, of Fanjo. But welcome along, everybody, to the stream. We are back for more ALR Silver action, and yeah, looking forward to seeing what the race can, what's going to unfold in front of our very eyes tonight. Here comes Bradfield now down towards the reprofiled turn 10. He is the first driver to cross the line. It looks like he'll be on his flying lap right now. But yeah, Bradford, they're looking to set his sights on getting some points on this occasion. But looking like he was going wide there, but he's not invalidated, thankfully for him. And the Alfa Romeo team, of course, Frank Vasseur. Oh, is he coming back in the pits? No, he seems to be aborting his lap there. Not quite sure what's going on there for the Alfa Romeo. Oh, he's off the circuit once again as well, so I'm not quite sure what's going on here. 22.8 is the fastest time so far. But I think that will be eclipsed very easily by some of the next drivers who are coming around the circuit. Here comes Potstuff in the Red Bull as well, looking to see what he can do in the 6th round, of course, of this season. It's been, like I said, a very quick start to the season, it seems, in my opinion. Got through all the 6 rounds, or all 5 and a bit rounds now so far, in quick succession, and now, of course, heading into the final race of the quarter. The first quarter of the season soon to be done and dusted at the end of this race, of course. Round 6, 24 races, 24 rounds in this calendar season. Of course, we'll be going on into the new year, as Dope 11 says, goes into the top spot. Of course, we're going into the new year, of course, from 2022 into 2023, and finishing off in about May time, end of May, in 2023 for this season. So it's a very long old season. It's the longest in ALR history, which is quite nice, as our headset has decided to disconnect, which is nothing new. It seems to do that all the time. But nonetheless, I can still just about hear what's going on. But yeah, like I said, it's the longest in ALR history, this calendar, and yeah, looking forward to seeing how it all develops, all unfolds as the season progresses. But like I said, it's only a quarter way through, but it's gone by so quickly, in my opinion. It's been an absolute breeze. But yeah, it's been great to watch them, great to commentate on these silver drivers, of course, so far. So far this season, it's been an absolute pleasure. Let's see what Fanjo can do up to the line. He's gone fastest with a 17.505 there. We saw a 16, I think it was, in gold last night in the pole position, or at the top spots, I should say, really. But I'm not quite sure. We'll have to see if the silver drivers can match some of that. I think Fanjo, one of the candidates who could probably do that. Nigel might be up there as well. And Cartboy, they're doing a good job getting himself up into P5. Bradfield, they're having a spin there at turn 3. We saw a lot of problems at turn 3 in the 100% race, which of course was a week ahead from the 3 main divisions. Last week it was the 100% League around Spain on Wednesday. This Wednesday we've got, of course, the Belgium Spa-Francorchamps circuit on Wednesday night, so stay tuned for that on Wednesday night. But of course, Bronze is coming up tomorrow night. So like I said, much more action to come in ALR. Brabbit there puts himself up into P9. I don't think Brabbit or Bradfield yet have set a representative time just yet. I think they've just gone out there to set a banker lap and get their sights, get their eyes in, get their sights in. Here comes Equaz now round the final corner. We did hear from the lovely Ginger Rage last night that potentially the last few turns of Sector 3 might be reprofiled into just one, or the older, but just one long right-hander that goes down towards the final corner. So it would basically be just 2 long right-handers into the main straight. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see if that actually comes to fruition, because that would be much better, in my opinion, than going through this pesky chicane at the end of the lap. But like I said, they've reprofiled turn 10. We've just gone through that reflection here. but they've reprofiled turn 10 to make it a bit more racy, I think, in terms of getting side-by-side action. Of course, going through there when it was the old hairpin was quite difficult side-by-side. Not to say that nobody tried it, but yeah, it's a lot more easier, a bit more like the Abu Dhabi reprofile turns as well. Is turn 10 now on the Circuit de Catalunya now, of course. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how the race is going to unfold. Not too much of a change, really, to be fair. After coming back from Miami last week, they've had not much of a difference in terms of the track circuit that they've got to take on tonight. But Miami there was going to be a bit more of a challenge, I think, because of course it is quite a new circuit to the drivers, and of course quite a new circuit to learn as well. But luckily it wasn't too eventful. It was a good race, but it wasn't too incident prone, thankfully, and hopefully that carries on tonight as well. We don't want to see any incidents, of course, unless you're Ginger Age. But there we go. Reflection, they're coming up the hill now. Up from 7 into the turn 8. Very easy to lose the car here. Turn 9, I think it is. And now heading down towards turn 10, the new turn. There's an Alfa Romeo there in front, just getting out of the way using the old layout, or not the alternative layout of the circuit. But here comes Reflection now coming through. I'm not quite sure why the game sound is not working. Oh, I'll tell you why. It's because my headset has died, hasn't it? That's working now. There we go. Now we've got game sound. Once again, my controller issues are playing up. But here we go then, Reflection to cross the line. Hopefully everyone could hear me before then, but I think you could hear me, but just nothing else. Reflection there crosses the line in P4. Good stuff indeed from the Rebel team. Looking good in P4 and P5 for the time being as it stands. Cassell there with a great time as well. 18.3 there, puts himself into P6. And he comes across the line now just to start another lap, I think it is. Let's have the telemetry on so we can tell whether they're using their ERS or not. Yes, he is starting another lap here. Bradfield there is in P12, I should say, not nearly P2, almost P2, but he needs to improve a bit on his time there, and he's just going cruising around now at the moment on his well, he's not using any ERS, so he's not on a flying lap at this stage. Farf is on the track now. He's managed to get himself out onto the track before the timer has finished, unlike Miami, of course, last week. D-Mac is back in his car, but he's not come out of the pits just yet. Tango is on the track, as is Nigel, the championship leader. Fanjo, his rival, is currently in pole position, so he wants to try and negate that gap. Of course, Fanjo there had a great Miami Grand Prix. The gap is now... Oh, we've got somebody off the circuit completely there now for Tarry Farf, I think, in the background there, Nigel. But yeah, we had a great battle. Well, not a great battle, I should say. Fanjo there absolutely blitzed everybody in Miami. We've got an Alfa Romeo off the circuit there, but he absolutely blitzed everybody in Miami there to claim the victory, of course, by quite a margin as well, to be fair, for Fanjo. And he got the championship lead now down to 2 points, which means that Nigel needs to pull his finger out now and try and get some big points now in this round to take the lead into the winter break, or keep the lead into the winter break, that is. Nigel there will be looking to set his sights on that pole position, no doubt, but Fanjo there only 2 points behind, can swing the championship in his favour before we head into that winter break, as I just said. But looking good for Nigel and Fanjo at the moment at the top of the standings as well. Equaz there in P3 currently on the grid, is currently in P3 as well in the standings, so he's doing a consistent job as the Aston Martin driver. Very cool, calm and collected is Equaz, and then doing a good job there in the races and in the qualifying as well. I'm not quite sure what's happening here with the everything seems to be all right there. Good stuff. Right, I'm just trying to load everything out and it's not working. Now it's working, which is good. So yeah, we're back underway. But yeah, here comes Nigel, the championship leader. Let's see what we can do into turn 9. Going purple in sector 2 though, that looks promising. And let's see what he can do now as he comes round into sector 3. Much more complex sector 3 than the rest of the circuit. It's very easy to invalidate or lose the car on traction. Going into the corners deep there, it's quite easy to get the car over these curbs as well and spin the car around, especially with the ground effect of these cars as well. It bottoms out much easier if you go over the curb too much, and he has not done that, thankfully. He's got himself up into P3 there, a 17.7 there. He's just over two tenths slower than Fanjo, his championship rival, and Dopey Lemons is just in between the two of them at the moment as well in the Alpine, doing a great job there in P2. Let's see who is next to cross the line. It looks like it's a Alfa Romeo. No, Bradfield has just started his lap. Cassell there has just started another lap as well. No, I think he's just finished a lap there, unfortunately, for Cassell. He's in P9. Brabbitt there has put himself up into P2. A fantastic time there for the Mercedes driver. 1:17.589. He is just under a tenth away from the pole sitter of Fangio. Great time indeed. We saw a great time as well from Brabbitt in Miami. Unfortunately, the race didn't go his way. He dropped down after having a spin through the complex end of sector 2, of course, in that Miami circuit under the flyovers, but he's managing to do a good job there once again in the qualifying session, it looks like, tonight. So Brabbitt there in P2 as it stands at the moment. Of course, there's still 6 minutes to go in this qualifying session. There is still time for more drivers to set a time and to set a faster time, although Kia there is not having a good time at the moment. He's off into the wall there in the Haas car. Unfortunately, he's in neutral as well. He needs to make sure he gets the car back into first and he can get himself back underway. Unfortunately, that front wing is completely missing out on the Haas. He needs to get himself back to the pits as quickly as possible to get that front wing changed and get back out there to set another competitive time on the board. Bradfield not having a great time here at all, actually, is he? Trying to set a time, trying to set a competitive time. He's done 21.453. His teammate there seems to be trying to get in the way as well. I'm not quite sure what's happening between the two Alfa Romeos there, if they're just trying to work together for a slipstream or something like that down the main straight. We'll have to find out. I think we might have a bit of a slipstream going on here. Let's have a look. No, Cassell's coming in the pit, so that's completely botched that plan. Don't worry about that. Come on, Towery and Kart, says Troy in the comment section. He's supporting, of course, Kart Boy in the Williams, but the rest of the support goes towards the AlphaTauri team. Of course, Troy is part of the AlphaTauri team in gold and had a fantastic win. It was a really good battle all the way through the last few laps of Spain in gold last night. So go back and watch that for sure after you watch the silver race. That is, but yeah, it was a really epic battle all the way to the last corner, to the line on the last lap. It was an Abu Dhabi 2021 moment, that was, I think, but yeah, it was absolutely epic. So really well done to Troyer getting his first, well, not his first win, it's his second win, I think, of the season, but yeah, it's been a closely contested fight in gold, as it has been as well between Nigel and Fangio and Equaz in the silver races as well. So there's still plenty to play for, only a quarter of the way through the season. So gold has now completed its first quarter and they're on their break now. So they've started a day early, of course, having raced a day early. But now it is Silver's turn, of course, to put on a good show in Barcelona, that is. And then once they've done that, they can have a well-deserved break. So, yeah, we've got a few breaks throughout the season, of course, because it's nice to have a bit of a rest every now and then. But nonetheless, here we go. Bradfield is back into the pits. Cartboy is on a lap, I think. Let's have a look at seeing what Cartboy can do now as he comes round into the beginning of Sector 3. Of course, always lost the car there, I think, bit, and he's having to back off there. Unfortunately for Cartboy, that is just drifting the car around that corner is very easy to do, and thankfully he's managed to keep the car in one piece. It could easily be off into the wall there if you keep the power in too much. Here comes Smithy now. Smithy around turn 9 onto the mini straight, the back straight. So yeah, into turn 10 as well now, round the reprofile turn 10. We're having a bit of difficulty there. The Williams, their drivers, not having a great time around sector 3, are they? You can just see there through both of these corners, Williams are having a struggle. Maybe the car setup is a bit too flighty on the rear of the on that posterior, but hopefully he can at least get it to the line and get a time on the board, because that is he will at least jump up to P18, because of course Craig Art has got a qualifying ban and Dan Murphy has decided not to take part in qualifying at all. So there we go. Smithy there, P14 in the Williams, so right behind his teammate on the same row as his teammate as well. Kia has unfortunately he's retired. I think he's in the pits there. He decided to call it a day, maybe saving a set of tyres for the race if he needs them. But there we go then. That is that done and dusted. So Smithy there in P14. Let's have a look and see what Reflection's up to. Everybody else is out on track as well. Reflection's just starting his lap. I think Fangio is the next to cross the line. No, he's not. He's just coming around to start another lap as well. We'll go back to him. Here comes Reflection. He's invalidated coming around turn 3, unfortunately, for the Red Bull driver. He might have enough fuel on board, hopefully, to go back round once again. If he saves his ERS now, he's got time. He's not got enough time to come back in the pits, I don't think, but he's got enough time to at least do another lap if he can just save up the ERS and save the fuel to start once again on at the end of this lap, of course. We'll have to wait and see if he can do that as well. Cassell there is off the circuit. circuit as well. Seems a few drivers there having a bit of trouble there keeping the car on the circuit. I think he was just letting people through on that occasion, which is all good in the hood. Smithy there is coming round now into the final couple of corners. Is he on a lap now? I think he might be. Nope, he's coming back in the pits. I think that is Smithy's qualifying done and dusted, to be honest. Unfortunately for Smithy, he's not going to be any higher than P14, but that is him done and dusted. Equaz is retired in the pits as well. Equaz not going to be any higher than P6, which is quite a not quite where he wants to be. I don't think the championship podium sitter at the moment. He's in P3 in the championship standings. So yeah, not quite sure where he wants to, not quite sure that's where he wants to be exactly. Nigel there just starting his lap as well. We'll go back to Fanjo, who is of course I think the next car to cross the line in anger. We'll have to double check that, but maybe I'm wrong there. But anyway, here comes Fanjo now coming through the final couple of corners to finish his flying lap. Around into the final turn, DRS is activated and he goes even faster still by 2.5 tenths. 17.243 there from Fanjo. Good stuff indeed from him. We've got an AlphaTauri, I think, of Farf there off the circuit. I think he's just trying to get out of the way of people on their laps. Dopey Lemons is also off the circuit as well. I'm not quite sure what's happened. Hopefully there's no incidents between the two of them. Ultimate Beast has put himself up into P2 there with a 17.540. Trying to get my numbers all mixed up. But he's doing a good job there once again, reserving tonight in the Ferrari. But as Cassell is retired on the circuit, unfortunately for Cassell, that is an odd place to retire the car, unfortunately for him. But he's had a bit of an issue there. It looks like Vitor has also retired as well. Yeah, Cassell has had a bit of a spin there. You can see in the background there as Nigel goes through. What can Nigel do now coming through the final couple of corners around the final turn there onto the exit curb? DRS is activated up to the line. It's going to be a 17.9 there. Says P5. He doesn't improve, unfortunately, for Nigel. He's going to be staying, or not going to be any higher than P5 in this race. Brabbit is in the pits as well. He's abandoned his lap time. That is him done adjusted. P3 is the best for him. Dopey Lemons, I think, is he's not got a lot of ERS there. I don't think that's going to be an improvement on his time either. So I don't think he'll be able to improve from P4. Here comes Pot Stuff though. Pot Stuff might be able to improve. We've got a lot of people crossing the line now. And let's have a look and see what Pot Stuff can do as he comes down into turn 10 as well. Coming back through Sector 3 now. Here comes the Red Bull. Both Red Bulls doing a pretty good job in qualifying so far. Reflection there has finished in P8. He's not going to be any higher than P8, and Florin might be able to knock him further down, I should say. Here comes Pot Stuff now round the final corner. Let's see what he can do. Can he improve from a 17.806? He can. He's up into P2. A fantastic time there from Pot Stuff there. Puts himself on the front row of the grid with a fantastic lap time. And Florin there into P7 as well. Pot Stuff with a 5.05 there, puts himself comfortably onto the second row, onto the first row in second place, I should say. But Fanjo is your pole position sitter for the Spanish Grand Prix round 6 of the ALR Silver Season 5. What a fantastic lap time indeed from Fanjo there. He improved by 2.5 tenths there. He would have been under pressure, I think, from Pot Stuff if he hadn't improved on that lap time. And now Pot Stuff has put himself comfortably into P2. Ultimate Beast there in P3 there. One place down from where he qualified, of course, on his first reserve appearance in Silver in Miami, of course, last week. He was in P2 in Miami, but now he's dropping down the order. He's dropped down to P3, which isn't too bad, to be honest, but he's still probably not going to be happy with that. He wants to put himself on pole position, no doubt, but he is currently 3 tenths off of pole position from Fanjo's time. Nigel there is the championship rival for Fanjo, is down in P6 there by almost half a second. But of course we can see what Nigel can do in the races. We've got a lovely shot here of Farf driving through Sector 3 in his AlphaTauri. But we'll have a quick run through the classifications of the qualifying format there. Of course, Fanjo there, your pole sitter for the Spanish Grand Prix. Pot Stuff there in second place, of course, on the first row. But the fantastic lap time at the end there of the session when a few people had unfortunately invalidated or couldn't get a faster time in. Ultimate Beast there in P3. Brabbit P4, both on the second row. Dopey Lemons in P5. Good qualifying from him. Nigel there, probably not too happy with his qualifying time, but we'll see what he can do in the race in P6. Florin there, an excellent qualifying in P7. And then we've got Equaz in P8, Reflection in P9, both Red Bulls doing well. V-Todd in P10, good stuff from V-Todd as well. Out of the points, out of the top 10, which we've got Cartboy, Favre, Cassell, Tango, D-Mac, Swithy, Bradfield, Kia, and then unfortunately Dan Murphy in P19 and Craig R in P20 did not set a lap time in the session. Evening all and best of luck, says Serious Mushroom. I'm just so poor on this game, says Tango. Well, I think, you only just got the game, to be fair. You've only been doing it, racing it for 6 weeks since the season started, so it's not been that long. He's still got plenty of time to get used to it. So yeah, don't worry about that. 18 more rounds to come after this one. It sounds a bit daunting when you think about that, but we've already sped through 6 rounds very quickly, in my opinion. So like I said, it will be done in a jiffy. But here we go. Then we're just loading into the race. Is there rain on the horizon there? I'm not quite sure. It seems a bit overcast at the moment. Maybe my eyes are playing up and I'm just visualizing rain when I shouldn't be, but hopefully the rain is not coming. We shall find out, of course, when the race does start. But a nice overcast day shouldn't be too bad for the drivers. I think hopefully the tyres can keep cool, which is good news. Don't want those tyres to overheat, do we? So especially on those lovely mediums and whatnot. So here we go then. We're going to get the race underway. It doesn't look like it's raining, thankfully. We'll have a look at the tyre compounds very quickly. But we'll come back to this one. Oh, it looks like there's a few drivers on soft compound tyres, so that's interesting. Craig R from the back of the grid is start. Oh, what's happened there to the? Is it an Alpine of DMAC? I think DMAC having a bit of trouble getting himself away. Come on, Fanjo, says Serious Mushroom. I'm not going to play the end of that, but there we go. So yeah, it looks like DMAC just trying to get himself back through the order now. But what is that? I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, anyway, so Craig R, they're starting on the medium compound tyres in P20. Dan Murphy in P19 in the Aston Martin on the mediums as well. Then we've got Kia there on the soft compound tyres in the Haas. That is an interesting strategy call there from Kia. Starting on the soft compound tyres, Bradfield there in P17 on the hards in the Alfa Romeo. Not a good qualifying from Bradfield, but looking to go long in the first stint to maybe maximise some places in the race. Smithy Almighty there in P16 on the medium compound tyres, and then DMAC, who is having a few issues there, it looks like, with getting past Craig R in P15. Tango there in sorry, he's been disqualified now as DMAC, so I think that was he's disqualified. He's got unfortunately disqualified Craig R as well, so I think that will be reviewed after the race. Tango there in P14 on the hard compound tyres. Cassell there as well on the hards in P13. Farf on the hards in P12, and then Cartboy just outside the top 10 in P11 there on the hard compound tyres as well in the Williams. Into the top 10 then we've got V Todd on the mediums, Reflection in P9 on the Red Bull, sorry, on the medium compound tyres as well. Reflection has already been done. Equaz there in P8 on the mediums, Florin as well on the medium compound tyres. Nigel in P6 on the on the hard compound tyres, I should say, the highest of the hard runners. Might have a bit of a difficult start there compared to the medium runners around him. Dopey Lemons in P5 on the mediums, as is Brabbit in P4. Ultimate Beast there in P3 on the medium compound tyres, and then our front row of Pot Stuff on the medium compound tyres in P2, and our pole sitter Fanjo on the soft compound tyres. So that's an interesting strategy call in my opinion. Sean has said softs, that's surprising, and Fanjo softs not good, says Serious Mushroom, so not confident on the softs for those two in the comment section. But let's see what Fanjo and Kia can do, both the Haas drivers starting on the soft compound tyres. So that's an interesting strategy call there. Again, not a good angle to start this race, unfortunately. I don't know why, but we are underway, I think. Here we go. Yes, we are underway now for the start of the Spanish Grand Prix. It was a long run down towards turn 1. We'll have to have a look on board because I don't think we're going to get a better camera angle than this, unfortunately. Why is the camera angle so horrible? I don't understand. So here we go then, through into turns 1, 2 and 3. Nigel, we're already up 2 places. That's a great start from Nigel on those hard compound tyres. Let me change the position changes. Brabbit is dropping down to P6. He's lost 2 places already, as has Dopey Lemons as well, down into 7th. Round the outside goes Brabbit there, just trying to keep the position ahead of the Alpine. He's managed to make that stick. Kia has been passed by Craig R. V. Todd has been passed by Farf. I'm not quite sure if that's lag or if that's me. Hopefully it's just me, and it's not lag throughout the race, throughout the drivers. Of course, Farf is the host of this session, so he needs to be in complete control, making sure his internet is in tip-top condition, of course. Thankfully, no first lap retirement so far. Cap Tango has been passed. Oh, he's been spun, I think, there by Cartboy. I think Cartboy trying to go around the outside into turn 8, that is. It's not an easy turn there. As a sail. What's happened here? I think Cartboy just slowed down to let Tango catch up. I think he knew he was at fault there. DMAC has been passed by Bradfield and DMAC battling away into the sector 3. There we go. Oh, going down the inside is DMAC. Good stuff indeed. Oh, there's a Cartboy. No, it's a Smithy off the circuit there. That is going to entice the Alpine there into making a move. Vanjo, of course, that's the fastest lap of the race. He is, of course, there's contact behind from Bradfield, and once again DMAC and Bradfield bashing wheels, it looks like. Hopefully they can get themselves through all right. Smithy's in the pits there. I'm not quite sure what's happened to Smithy. We saw him go a bit wide. We just seem to stop in the pit lane as well there. We saw him go a bit wide there in the end of Sector 3. Favre never in control, says Ginger Rage. Kia has got past Bradfield. Oh, it's tight there. The soft compound tyres. Oh dear, he's just about made it through there. I think he's there was a bit of clip on the wheel-to-wheel combat there, I think, but he's made himself just about made himself on the way through as well as Cartboy had gotten through as well into turn 4. Oh, he's just about kept the position there. He's gone a bit deep there on the brakes, but Bradfield there knowing exactly what he's doing. As I'm thinking it's just me. I'm hoping that it's me and it's just my internet is not going to smith it back out onto the hard compound tyres. I know it's on the medium compound tyres. Yeah, so I'm not quite sure. Hopefully it is just me, like I said, who is having the internet issues, and it's not, as we've got Kia there off the circuit to the dreaded turn 6, 7 and 6, 7 and 8, I think it is. I think he's got himself beached. No, he's not. He's got himself back underway now, thankfully. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened to Kia there. It looks like he spun the car on those soft compound tyres. It's not going well for the Haas driver, unfortunately, at this stage, which makes Serious Mushroom very upset, of course. But one Haas driver doing a very, very good job is Fandra there. He's done 3 laps, or 2 and a bit laps now, on the soft compound tyres. He's got a 2-second gap almost, but I don't know if that is the... we'll have to come back to that, because I'm not quite sure if that is the right strategy call, in my opinion, as Reflection gets past V Todd for the points paying position, the 10th place. That is the final points paying position, of course. But of course, any driver that's still in the race can do can get the fastest lap regardless of what position they're in, as Favre didn't mention to anybody in gold. But yeah, like I said, you can still get that fastest lap point regardless of what position you finish in. So there's no need to pit and quit. But there we go then. So it looks like Ultimate Beast is trying his best to keep up with Fanjo now. But it looks like Pot Stuff, unfortunately, losing out on the start there. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 2. It is V Todd off the circuit there. He's lost his front wing. That is a yellow flag. Is that no? It's a VSC. V Todd having a massive trouble trying to get himself back on the circuit as well. He has done eventually, being passed by Bradfield. I think Bradfield there has got an illegal overtake though, unfortunately, so he's had to let the Ferrari back through. But V Todd there having a bit of trouble getting his car in the poking in the right order, but he's now got himself back in the right way. Hopefully that VSC can stay out, because that will minimise the time loss that he receives in the pit lane at least. But yeah, unfortunately the VSC has been pulled out because of this incident. I think we had, well, I think it was just we had a pit stop here from the race leader. It's Fanjo. Bradford's got a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC, unfortunately. That is not good news at all. I don't know how he did that either, because he was stuck behind V Todd. But Fanjo there has called it. He's decided to go into the pits. The VSC has gone though, which means he's not maximising the amount of time that he could have done if he had stopped under, as V Todd has retired from the session. Is that on track? I think I'm not quite sure. It might be actually trying to get in the pit lane, to be honest. Hopefully there's no safety car for that, because that is not a good idea. As V Todd's car, I think V Todd has crashed in the pit lane there, because that car is teleported onto the track. It's one of those ones again. Dopey Lemons is having a torrid time. He's just letting his teammate through there. Up into P12 now goes DMAC, but Dopey Lemons, they're dropping down from P7 down to P13. Unfortunately, that is not good news for the Alpine outfit, and of course both the Alpines currently out of the points as it stands at the moment. Kia has come back out onto track. He's onto the softs again. No, he's still on the softs, I should say. Who has made a pit stop then? We're not quite sure. Fanjo's made a pit stop, where we did see as V Todd unfortunately is out of the race. We saw him trying to come into the pits. It looks like, I think, you're having that front wing damage and trying to get himself into the pit lane at high speed. It's quite difficult to try and do that, and that has come he's come across because of that. Unfortunately, Soft would have been gone in 5 laps anyway, says Serious Mushroom in the comment section. Fanjo now, the race or pole sitter, is now in P15. We've got Williams off the circuit there. Carboy miles off the circuit there. Unfortunately for Cartboy, he's not having a great time there at the moment. Luckily he can get himself back going, and he's not got any wing damage that I can see anyway. Cassell off the circuit as well. He's in the pit lane. He's just sitting there in the pit lane. He needs to get himself moving, otherwise he'll be disqualified. I think he's probably trying to get himself moving. Just go forwards. There we go. That's better. Much better indeed. There we go. Perfect stuff. Yeah, we got him. We got himself moving once again, thankfully, and good stuff from Cassell. He's got himself back underway. Softs would have been gone in 5 laps. We've seen that one as well. It's not Kia's fault. It's the car, says Ginger Rage. Of course, he's blaming the Haas for being atrocious. But there we go then. So that's that. Fanjo has got himself up into P13 now with, of course, Cartboy's incident, and I think he's got himself past Tango as well into that position there. Tango there right behind him now in the shot, but he's coming through turn 5 now, and he's looking to try and get himself back into the points. He's got 5-second gap towards the Alpine pair. As Craig R is off the circuit, Craig R's had a spin there at the top of the hill. That is unfortunate. As we saw there, Kia, I think it was, lose it there on lap 3, and we're only 5 laps in so far. And we've had a few spins already, unfortunately. This Spanish circuit is not holding up to the standards of the drivers that we're accustomed to, are we? So unfortunately, the drivers have having a bit of a difficult time around this circuit so far. Once they get a few more laps under the belt, hopefully they'll be well underway in terms of getting themselves sorted and knowing exactly where to push and where to not. Fanjo there, I thought it was Fanjo. No, it's not Fanjo. It's Kia, unfortunately, having another spin there at the entrance to turn 6 and 7. Unfortunately for Kia there, he's down into P19 there on those soft compound tyres. It's not looking good at this stage of the race. Right then, both the Alfa Romeos unfortunately having a bit of a difficult time so far, but hopefully they can get themselves back in the race. Of course, they're going to be going longer on this stint. We've got a yellow flag for an Aston Martin. It's Dan Murphy off the circuit, turn 3. He's just got himself back going again. Fanjo there coming through. I think we'll get past into P11 there. Dan is going to be under pressure now from Tango. Into turn 4 they go, side by side almost. Tango looking down the inside into turn 5. Let's see if he can make a move. Dan's got the car back underway and he's recovered that position now. Craig R is off the circuit. Craig R's off the car. I think it's turn 3 again. So turn 3 again. Once I was saying in the 100% league last week on Wednesday, turn 3 was causing a few problems, and it looks like nobody's learned from that one, and they've unfortunately they're keeping up the appearances at turn 3. It is a very difficult turn to get right. You can easily lose the car there. I don't know what Bradfield was doing there. I think he was just shaping for a move, but he's unfortunately backed off at this stage. Yeah, it's easy to lose the car at turn 3, but yeah, unfortunately, not that nobody's been paying attention to the 100% league, it doesn't look like, so that's not good news. Favre's got himself up past Florin there, up into P6. Both the AlphaTauri's doing a great job there on the hard compound tyres. Is Nigel going to make a move on Pot Stuff? He's going to go down the inside into turn 2. That's close indeed between the two of them. That is, he's just about kept the position there as Pot Stuff, but now Equaz all over the back of these two as well. Is going to be looking to sign up a move into turn 4. No, not quite. He's thought better of it for the time being, but these three now starting to battle for the last places on the podium. Let's have a look and see what's happened there. I think it was Cassell there having struggles coming out of the final turn. He's got himself back underway. But let's go back to this battle here. Nigel there all over the back now of the Rebel, but Equaz there over the back, all over the back of both of them. So it's going to be close indeed. Brabbit has joined this battle as well, and if it carries on, so will Farf, Florid, Reflection, and maybe more as well. We'll find out. But at the moment, it's helping Ultimate Beast there just keep the gap outside of DRS from the Red Bull of Pot Stuff in P2, and keep that lead as well in that Ferrari for the time being. But we'll have to wait and see how it all unfolds. And if is Nigel there just going a bit on the curve there? That's lost a bit of traction there on that curve, and that has cost him a bit of time there. Equaz now going to be interested in that rear end of the AlphaTauri by all means. Coming down the back, down the main straight, I should say. Here he comes now around the final turn. You can see the top 5 all in shot there. We can see even Farf and Florin there in the background as well. But here comes Equaz. Can he make a move into turn 1? He's using the ERS, trying to go down the inside into turn 1. Here he goes, late on the brakes. He's made the move at the moment. Can Nigel make the switch back though? No, not quite. He's too far back. And that means Equaz up into P3, back in the podium places, of course, where he started. Where he is in the championship, I should say. No, I think he started in P4. So never mind. Just ignore me on that one. So there we go. There we go then. Great stuff indeed. Great racing as well from Nigel and Equaz. Very clean and fair. Brabbit now looking to pounce as well on any mistakes from the drivers ahead of him as well. You can see the top 4 right in his sights. They're all within DRS range now. Potstuff has actually caught up to Ultimate Beast. I'm not sure if Beast had a problem there on that last lap, but now he's within DRS range. We're on to lap 8, and that means that the medium compound tyres have probably got another 5-6 laps or so to go before they start getting a bit too worn out to cope, and those hard compound tyres will start to kick in as well and be the faster tyre. I think the faster tyre might be quite even right now actually between the two. So it might be quite evening out just now. Of course, the tyre wear for the mediums will be a lot higher than it will be on the hards. We've got a yellow flag for it's an Alfa Romeo, unfortunately, of Bradfield there. Bradfield there just getting himself stranded, it looks like, on the curb, so he's got himself back underway. Yellow flag, sector 2, that is just for Bradfield's car. Beast has taken the opportunity though to pit, so he's thinking maybe there's going to be a safety car here. There is another spin, I think, there in sector 3. And that is DMAC there getting himself back underway. Beast is coming through the pit lane now. I think Fangio is going to claim that lead. He has done. So Beast now dropping down the order as a few more cars are going to come through as well. I think the likes of DMAC and Tango will come through. Maybe Cartboy as well. I think he's a bit too far back. Is Cartboy, unfortunately, at this stage of the race. But Beast there coming back out into P13. Good stuff indeed from him. Looking to set his sights on getting back past his rival in this race of Fangio, of course, who both on the both in the vicinity of each other in the qualifying. Here comes DMAC now round the outside into turn 4. It's late on the brakes for the Alpine driver. Can he go round the outside? Can he hold it round the outside? He can do. It's a great move there from DMAC indeed, and Tango there. I think he had to just accept that the Alpine there was coming through. But can Tango make his way back through the field? Bradfield has had a problem there into the pits. He's had a speeding in the pit lane penalty. Craigar once again is off at turn 3. Turn 3 again, not being nice to Craigar. Bradfield there into the pits there from the hard compound tyres. He's got a wing change coming. I'm not quite sure if Bradfield there had an incident on the last lap. And that is it. Unfortunately, Bradford there having a torrid time there into P19, and now he's going to be put under pressure. Here comes Equaz now putting pressure on the Red Bull of Pot Stuff down the main straight. Here comes there's a car coming out the pit lane there. It's Bradford, I think, coming out the pit lane. He's been lapped now by Equaz and Pot Stuff, and I think Nigel coming through as well. But luckily the Ghost car system is working in place as Farf and Florin switch places now. P5 for Florin in the McLaren, doing a great job there as well on his return after having a couple of races out. Unfortunately, just naturally it was I think it was family issues and things are going on as well. So thankfully for Florin, he's back in the car and can get himself back in the race as well. Now up into P5, looking good so far for the McLaren driver as well. Purple in sector 1 as well. Great lap time indeed. Just need to make sure that Farf doesn't go into the back of him there, because that's what Farf does. A lot of spinning going on, says Serious Mushroom. Yes, indeed, there is plenty of spinning going on. I think that turn 3, as we saw in the 100% League as well, it is claiming a few victims, unfortunately, which is, like I said, it's always a difficult track, to be fair, around the circuit. A lot of people just underestimate it, I think, which is why you don't want to do that, because it can easily spit you out and throw you in a wall, as we found out already in a few laps. As Bradford there is he's joining the lead pack at the moment. At the moment, he's doing a good job there, sticking in P4 on track, that is, but not in the standings in the race, that is. Smithy there having a problem through turn 4 as well, coming on the exit. He's got his front wing intact, thankfully, so he's all good there to keep going. Looks like Equaz is really trying to pull away from Pot Stuff here in this stage of the race. Nigel doing a good job there, sticking at this one as well, keeping himself into P3 at the moment. Brabbit there staying in P4 as well. They've got a gap now to Florin of 1.5 seconds there. McLaren, they're not just trying to catch up now to the top 4, but Farf and Reflection are keeping him honest in that P5 in that McLaren. So yeah, still plenty of things to go on. So yeah, Reflection there in P7, they're doing a good job, as is Farf as well. Looking a bit grey, so Serious Mushroom as well. Yeah, it does. Oh, I thought it was looking a bit grey off the start, to be fair. I think it was a bit overcast. So unfortunately, well, hopefully, from my opinion anyway, in my case, I don't want it to rain. Hopefully the drivers don't want it to rain either, and hopefully it doesn't rain as well. So we'll find out, of course. We're only a third of the way through the race so far. But yeah, there we go. So we're third of the way through so far. So we're not quite sure if the rain is going to come or not. We haven't had any weather forecasts from the drivers. Of course, they will be able to see what the weather is going to be potentially doing in the race from the qualifying. Kia's got himself a 3-second penalty, unfortunately for Kia. They're down in P18. He's done 10 laps on those soft compound tyres. I would have said that probably half of that would be too much. So 5 laps and they're probably dead, but he's done 10 laps somehow on those soft compound tyres, so I would suggest switching onto the hard compound tyres or the medium compound tyres, good sir, because I don't think that is ideal. Fangio there sets the fastest lap of the race. He's now trying to get himself into P8, trying to catch up to Dopey Lemons there. Dan Murphy's been passed by Fangio, I think, but he's got himself into the top 10 points paying positions at the moment so far. DMAC they're doing a good job as well in P11. Dan Murphy, not Dan Murphy, Tango and Ultimate Beast, they're battling into turns 1s, 2 and 3. There's contact as well going around turn 3, and I'm not quite sure what that was from Tango. I think it was a bit of a shoulder barge, a classic shoulder barge there, as Frugo's Cartboy there trying to destroy the bollards. Thankfully it's not damaged his front wing, but Beast there on the hard compound tyres, the fresher hard compound tyres, has got himself through. I think there might have been a bit of banging wheels there as they came through turn 1, 2 and 3, but thankfully no harm done. And there we go then, good stuff indeed from Tango. He's got himself, well, some Beast I should say, Tango, who's got himself into P13, but I think he's having a bit of a difficult time there in this race. He did say he wasn't too much of a fan of the Spanish circuit, so he's not having a great time, it doesn't look like at this stage, but of course he's on the hard compound tyres, so looking to go long. Oh, Beast there, losing traction there, that's lost him time as well. Tango might be able to get a move back. Here comes Nigel though. Nigel's got to move into P2. He's made his way up into P2 there. Fantastic stuff indeed from Nigel on those hard compound tyres. Equaz is trying to check out there in the distance here. He's almost 1.5 seconds ahead now of P2, but he's got himself now into prime position now on those hard compound tyres. Bradford still doing a good job of sticking there on the track, sticking to this battle as well. And there we go then. Fantastic stuff as Bradford there trying to get himself unlapped, it looks like, but he just needs to make sure he keeps it clean and not getting in the way of the lead drivers as well. Potts, I think, he's just got enough pace at the moment just to keep himself going, but there we go then, good stuff indeed from him. So there we go, Farf there into P6. He's trying to get up and move on Florin. Florin still hasn't got that gap down, unfortunately, as we've got another yellow flag for, I think it's for Cartboy. Cartboy at turn 4. He's unfortunately had a bit of a difficult time there at the exit of turn 4. It looks like he's still got everything intact and he can get himself back underway. So good stuff indeed. Unfortunately for Kia there, he's still going on those soft compound tyres, but he's going to be he's been lapped by the lead group already, but he's now going to be lapped now by the next group as well. Including his teammate of Fandro there, who's got himself up into P9, and right behind Dopey Lemons here, coming round now into the final turn. Can he make any moves into turn 1? You can see the Haas there in the foreground, I should say, as Florin has been passed by Farf. Here comes Fandro now down the main straight. Can he get a move now on the Alpine of Dopey Lemons into turn 1? He's too far back. He can't go for a late move there, unfortunately, into turn 1. He's going to have to bide his time or try and make an audacious move later on in this lap. Ultimate Beast has been passed by DMAC there. DMAC's got himself through. I think Ultimate Beast there we saw have a bit of a problem there at turn, well, earlier on in this last lap, and so that has cost him there. DMAC there had the DRS, I think, down into turn 1, and here comes Ultimate Beast. They're trying to fight back. They're trying to keep that place, trying to keep that P11 there. He had a bit of a spin there. It looked like, I think, and lost a bit of traction in sector 3. And that enticed DMAC to try and get himself back through. But yeah, the DMAC there on the medium compound tyres, 13 laps old, I think might be coming towards the end of their ideal life. Cartboy's back in the pit, so he's onto the medium compound tyres. He's down into P17. Unfortunately, the Williams driver's having a difficult time, just like the Alfa Romeo drivers, unfortunately, in this one. And it comes back out on circuit. Here we go, as yellow flags. Who's that for? Is that for Tango? Tango's got himself beached on the curbs. He just needs to reset the car. And like I said, you are allowed to do that, unfortunately. He decided not to do that in this case, so that will be him disqualified from the race, even though he could just reset the track. But needs to read the rules there in that case, unfortunately, as he's been disqualified. I think he's just given up there, unfortunately, in this one. So nonetheless, he is out of this race as well. 2 people out of the race, unfortunately, so far. We're almost halfway through. Yeah, that is now down to 18, unfortunately, in this one. But there we go then. Dopey Lemon's back out on circuit. He's using the opportunity now to pit for the hard compound tyres to go to the end of this race. But it still looks like, I'm not quite sure if Serious Mushroom has called this right, it still looks like it might be raining very soon. We've had Equaz pit as well for the hard compound tyres, as we've got a few more people coming in and out of the pits. Yeah, unfortunately there for Tango, just needs to get himself reset the track. There was nobody around him. He had plenty of time. It's also in the rule book that it is allowed if you are beached on the curbs, because of course otherwise you get disqualified like that. So yeah, unfortunately for Tango, not having a good time at this circuit, he said. So I think he decided just to call it a day and just stick on that curb for a bit longer than needed. But there we go. Nonetheless, Equaz has come out ahead of Ultimate Beast, but it's very close indeed. And of course, with the tyre warm-up, Beast has got himself up into P10, and that is good news indeed for Beast, but he's going to be all over the back now of Equaz. Equaz going to be under pressure here down the main straight. We've got more pit activity. Florin is in the pits, Brabbit and Potstuff are in the pits as well. Favre and Nigel carrying on. Of course, both the AlphaTauris now 1 and 2, but on the hard compound tyres, 15 laps so far on the hard compound tyres. We'll be looking to go a bit longer, a few more laps now to go onto the mediums potentially in the next stint. Yellow flag in sector 1. That is for Bradfield, I think, because that is the lapped car of Bradfield there coming through turns 2, and he's just been overtaken now by his by Fangio, I should say. That is out of the pits there. Here it's going to be close indeed. DMAC has got himself up into P7 there. Ultimate Beast has got himself back through. Oh, he's had a spin there, Beast, off the circuit. Unfortunately for Beast there, coming through turn 2. That's a big shame there for him. He was doing a great job in this race. He's still in the points paying positions just for now, I should say. Out of the pits comes Dan Murphy. He's going to be under pressure now from DMAC. DMAC's got himself through, of course, 1 lap extra. Dopey Lemons, I should say, has got that 1 lap extra warm-up on those tyres, and that has given him the prime position now to get himself up into P11 there. Beast, they're having a bit of struggles there coming through turns 2 and 3. Unfortunately, that has cost him. Craig R coming back out of the pits now. He's going to be out in P16. Good stuff indeed. As and who's got a yellow flag now? Who's got the yellow flag this time? I think it might have been Kia. They're coming through sector 2, just getting out of the way of the faster cars. He's done 14 laps still on those. He's done 14 laps on those soft compound tyres, which is no mean feat, as Farf has decided to call it a day on those hard compound tyres. He's pitting early now, is Farf, onto a different compound tyre. Reflection also in the pits. Fangio reclaims P2, but he's quite a way back. He's 12 seconds back from Nigel there in P1, so he's got quite a long way to go. Yellow flag once again for Bradfield. I think Bradfield now getting out of the way of the lap cars, thankfully getting through. But now let's have a look and see where Farf is going to come out. He's going to be coming out in P5. That's a fantastic stint there from Farf. He's got himself ahead of Potstuff somehow. Potstuff, I think, maybe stuck in traffic there. Brabbit as well in P7. He's undercut, or he's overcut all of those drivers there. He was battling with Florin there, wasn't he, in the first stint, and now Farf up into P3. That's a fantastic stint indeed from Farf. Maybe had a lot of ERS saved up to use when the other drivers around him did pit, so he could get some extra pace from those hard compound tyres. But now onto the medium compound tyres, we'll be looking to go great guns indeed to get those mediums to the end, and of course extend the gap to the drivers behind him as well. Smithy is in the pits as well. Let's see what he's going to go on to. Did it say rain? Says somebody. Mushroom, sorry, there we go. Sorry, I just had a quick glance. But as Tango said, yeah, forgot about that, and thankfully it didn't cause. Yeah, well, I don't think it would have. Thankfully, we got a yellow flag once again. Bradfield there at the top of turns 8, I think it is now. He's had a problem there. Looks like getting that Alfa Romeo around that corner, but thankfully he has made it so far. The only driver yet to pit so far are the top 2, and of course DMAC. DMAC now coming into the pits here from P4 on the grid. He's on the classification, that is, doing a great job so far as Farf gets that P4 back. Potstuff is going through. DMAC, I think, might just drop outside the points at the moment, but he will be able to get himself back in with the faster compound tyre, with the of course the extra pace and the grip that he's going to have on those hard compound tyres once they get warmed up, of course. But he's just dropping behind his teammate, and Dan Murphy and Al Cassell, I think, might come through as well. But then he'll be back underway. Into the pits comes Bradfield there. Bradfield there has been lapped, I think, but he's going to be able to at least get that fastest lap point if he puts a set of soft compound tyres on. Cassell there into turn 1. He's behind. Oh, we've got a yellow flag somewhere else now. It's Kia, I think. Kia, they're trying to keep the car under control there. Cartboy's got the fastest lap of the race. Good stuff indeed from Cartboy. Here they're having a bit of trouble. They're trying to get himself back to the pits as Cassell and DMAC battling away through turns 4 and 5. Going to be side by side for these two. Of course, DMAC, they're trying to get those tyres warmed up at the same stage. Cassell's done 17 laps on those tyres as we've got a safety car. I'm not quite sure why. Kia has been speeding in the pit lane. Not quite sure what's happened here. Okay, there we go, done and dusted then. I'm not quite sure who's caused how that's happened. I think it might have been Kia who caused the safety car, but I'm not sure if yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there really, to be honest. But there we go, we've got a safety car nonetheless. So there we go, we've got a few people in the pits as well. Fangio is in the pits, Equaz is also in the pits. Farf, I think, might carry on here and get himself back up into P2. Let's have a look and see if anybody else is going to make their decisions to jump into the pit lane as well. I think it might be quite tight between both the mediums and the hards from here. Could be a few drivers have already pitted for fresher hards. Only a couple of laps done on those tyres as well. So that will mean that the difference between the mediums and the hards, especially towards the end of the race on lap 33, 32, 31, that sort of thing, the difference between the tyres won't be too bad. So there's not too much to gain, let's say, from pitting now. But there's much more to gain, of course, if it was in a few laps' time, where we had potentially the ability to go on to soft compound tyres. But nonetheless, we'll crack on. Of course, the drivers will have to adhere to the delta. Nigel might be able to make a cheap pit stop here take himself into keep himself in the lead. Of course, his teammate is in P2, and on the medium compound tyres, he did stay out, of course, having pitted just a lap earlier. But yeah, I'm not quite sure. The Grateful Fanjo says Serious Mushroom, he's in P2. Yeah, of course, onto fresh mediums as well, having made that pit stop. He was up into P2 on track, but of course chose to come to the pits when that safety car was released. So yeah, here comes Nigel now. And yeah, that'll be that. Potentially, we can see some other drivers get themselves back onto the lead lap as well. I think that might be Cartboy as well. Not quite sure what's going on here between these two, but Bradfield and Cartboy seem to be having a battle of their own. Into the pits comes Nigel there. He's onto fresh medium compound tyres. He's back out of the pits already before the other drivers get onto the main straight, that is, as well. So good stuff indeed from Nigel there. That safety car's really played into his hands. Brabbit is into the pits as well. He's called it a day on those hard compound tyres already. 3 laps in, Beast is going to stay out, it looks like, at this stage. Fando is going to get himself up into P5. Opie Lemons is coming in the pits as well. So all the drivers there, or most of the drivers there, switching from the hards onto the medium compound tyres if they've got a spare set, it looks like. Could be a good strategy call indeed. So like I said, good stuff from all the drivers so far to keep themselves in the race, apart from, of course, Kia and VTOD, who had a problem, and then Tango, who got beached on the curb and didn't get himself reset in time. So unfortunately, that is the reasons for the not disqualifications, well, disqualification in Tango's case, but for the retirements, unfortunately, for Kia and for VTOD. I think actually, to be honest, both of them had troubles getting themselves in the pit lane, and I think because of the front wing damage for VTOD, definitely he had tried to get himself into the pit lane a bit too quick, and of course clipped that. I think there's a little sticky out bit, isn't there, on that pit entry, on the outside of the pit entry, and if you clip that with your wheel, that is one wheel gone, and that is you out of the race. So I think that's what happened to VTOD, and potentially happened to Kia as well. But there we go, then we're back in the safety car queue. So we're just waiting for the safety car, of course, to bunch up the pack. Yeah, clip the wall coming into the pit, says Kia as well. So that's exactly what, well, I think that's exactly what VTOD did. I just have Farf on the mind there of causing an incident, so there we go. But yeah, that's, I think, exactly what VTOD did as well. So both the drivers who retired officially in this race had an issue getting themselves into the pit lane, and then of course I think Tango there have got beached on the curb at the exit of turn 8. So yeah, unfortunately that is it. So that is the way it goes so far. We're on to lap 20. Actually, we're on to lap 21 now. So we're going to have what we're going to have. We're going to have 13 laps, I think. Potentially, if the safety car comes in at the end of this lap, we're going to have 13 laps remaining. So yeah, like I said, the mediums might have a bit of trouble getting to the end of this one, but we'll find out how they go. Of course, it'll be much easier for the AlphaTauris as well on the warm-up. That might be good news actually for the AlphaTauris as well, because of course the likes of Pot Stuff and Beast are on their hard compound tyres. Craig R's coming in the pits now as well. He's decided to call it a day on the hard compound tyres as well, so I think he's making the right call here. But will he go on to softs even? I mean, potentially he might go on to the soft compound tyres. We'll find out as he puts a new set of boots on. We've been... No, he just teleported. There we go. Good stuff. I thought he got stuck in the pit lane there, but thankfully he's been released. So away he goes back onto the medium compound tyres. He's only lost a place now to Cartboy, and I think he's at the back of the queue so far. Of course, with the other lapped cars involved in the train as well. So yeah, so luckily he can now get himself back in the train as well. Fingers crossed he'll be able to catch up in time to restart this race at the end of lap 21. Fingers crossed that is. Coming around turn 4 now, he might be just about within the range, so we'll see if the safety car decides to peel its way back into the pits. Beast is going to get swamped, says Serious Mushroom. Of course, there's medium runners all around him, all behind him, I should say. Fandro there is going to be the first of them. Equaz as well in P3 in the championship is going to be the next one to try and get himself through as well. I think he might be under pressure, put it that way, from the medium runners behind him, says Serious Mushroom in the comment section as well. I think that might be right. We've got Nigel there in P1. Is the safety car going to come in at this lap? It is coming in this lap. A late call there as well, because of course Craig R just about caught up to the queue, and that is going to be a very late call indeed for Nigel to try and deal with. He's got, of course, a Williams in between himself and his teammate, which isn't too favourable for half, of course, but it's good news for Nigel. Here he comes now round the down onto the main straight. He's going to be late on the restart, it looks like. Here we go then, away we go. And a fantastic restart indeed, actually, from from Nigel, I should say, from the race leader. Fanjo's already got past Ultimate Beast there into turn 1, and he's got himself up into P4. Has Fanjo. Good stuff indeed. The lap cars there just getting themselves out of the way, hopefully, and that is a Williams there just getting himself sorted. Pot Stuff has been passed by Fanjo. Fanjo going great guns indeed. The hard runners there couldn't put up a fight at all. Into turn 4 they go. Pot Stuff has been passed by Beast, and he's got the move done as Beast on those old tyres as well. Pot Stuff is dropping down the order. Now you can see the hard combat tyres taking so long to warm up here. Pot Stuff and Equaz battling away now down to turn 5. Oh, on the exit, contact there on the exit, but Pot Stuff I think has had to concede that position now. Equaz has got through on those medium compound tyres, and that is him up into P5. They're done and dusted. Pot Stuff now dropping down to P6 on those hards. I think those hards just taking too long to warm up there on the restarts is why everybody else chose to start on the medium compound tyres or pit for the medium compound tyres during that race. We can see Pot Stuff there weaving around, trying to he's not trying to put off Brabbit there in P7. He's trying to get those tyres into a better operating temperature to get himself in the right position there, get himself up to speed a bit more, I suppose. Farf there has dropped himself back there from Nigel, his teammate, up into 1.6 region now. 1.7 there for Nigel. He's doing a great job there controlling this race so far. Farf in P2. Fanjo there all over the back now of him in P3, but Fanjo I think looking to try and get himself up into P2, potentially get himself after Nigel as well for the lead of this race. Beast and Equaz battling away into turn 1. Equaz is already through there up into P4 in the braking zone. He's already got past the Ferrari driver, those hard compound tyres. 14 laps now on those hards. He's got to do 24 laps to get to the end of this race. I don't think it's going to work. I think the strategy has unfolded there for Beast, unfortunately, which is a big shame. Brabbit there trying to get himself down the inside at turn 4 on Pot Stuff. I think those hard compound tyres just about getting into the right operating temperature right now, so that will mean that they are almost up to speed compared to the medium runners around him now as well. But of course they've lost a bit of time, lost positions already. They were P3 and P4 were Pot Stuff and Beast before the restart, and now because of that restart the hard combat tyres just took too long to warm up, and that has cost them a few places already, and I think they might cost them a few more places as well as the race unfolds. Reflection there trying to go for a move now on Florin, now down the inside into turn 10, turn 9 I should say. He's got the no he's not, he's gone deep on the brakes, has the McLaren driver, and kept that position very nicely indeed, has Florin, of course the championship winner for Division 5 last season as well. Looking good indeed for Florin, so good stuff indeed from him as well. Let's go round now into the rest of the field. It's still very tight between everybody here, not really at the moment apart from P1 and P2. 2.5 second gap now between Nigel and Farf in the other AlphaTauri. He's doing a fantastic job as well indeed. A yellow flag at the back of the field. It is I think it was a Williams, unfortunately. It's Cartboy. Unfortunately for Cartboy, he's had a spin at the final turn, which is a big shame there for Cartboy. He's doing a good job. He's still not too far off the queue, so if there's more incidents ahead, or if he can get himself back in the order, he had a good qualifying, I think, so that we can see if he can get the pace back and he can get himself back in the queue. He's only 3.5 seconds behind Craig now, not too far at all. Brabbit and Pot Stuff still battling away. Look at this battle here between the Mercedes and the Red Bull. It's reminiscent of some previous battles between the Mercedes and the Red Bull that we saw in 2021, but we don't need to worry about that because these drivers are much cleaner than that. Farf and Fanjo there right by side by side almost, coming through turns 5 and 6, and now around to turn 8. Here they come now down the back straight, and Fanjo's got the DRS now into turn 9, but no move being made just yet. He's having to bide his time for now. Any other moves into turn 9 down the field? No, not quite. Everyone's still staying as they are, status quo as they are for the time being. Fanjo, I think they will be making a move down the main straight. He's going to be very keen to get past that AlphaTauri. Yellow flag in sector 3. It's for Bradfield. Bradfield's had a spin there once again at the beginning of sector 3, unfortunately for Bradfield. Here comes Fanjo though. Fanjo now with DRS activated down the main straight. He's going to get past Favre, I think, before the braking zone even. He's got the move done. Favre has dropped down to P3 there. Equaz is going to be interested next, but Fanjo now up into P2. Can he get his sights set on... Oh, Fanjo's off the circuit. He's had a spin. He was just up into P2. The championship contender has had a spin at turn 2. Unfortunately for Fanjo, he's pushing too hard to try and catch up to Nigel, and I think that's it. That might be him out of the points. He is out of the points. He's P11 now, is the Haas driver. He's had a massive spin there at turn 2. He's still in the realms of the points, of course. So there's still points on offer for the Haas driver. So there's still something to play for. But that is very costly for his championship. As this fight is there, a fight for with Nigel, of course, is going to go back in the favour of the AlphaTauri drivers. As we've got yellow flag there for I think another. It's for Bradfield once again. Has got himself back going again, thankfully. Yeah, unfortunately there for Fandra there. We just saw him. He had a great move there. He got the move done very easily on Farf, getting himself up into P2, and then at the exit of turn 2 he just had a spin, put the traction down, put the power down too early, and that spun the car, spun the wheels up, and that was him out of the points as it stands at the moment. Of course, he's just within the realms of the points. He's 3/10 outside just at the moment, so he's still within potential of getting some points for the team and for himself in the championship fight. But that could be costly, and that is really put Nigel in a strong position, of course, going into the break as well. The first quarter of the season is almost done, and this is well, we've only got 8 laps left of the first quarter of the season. It's Potstuff and Brabbit moving into P5. There is the Mercedes driver. Good stuff indeed from Brabbit. He's got himself up into P5. Potstuff dropping down the order. Florin now all over the back of the Red Bull. Can Florin make a move through? Here he goes. Can his teammate of Reflection as well get himself through? Florin makes a great move there into P4, into P6, I should say, into turn 4. But he's got the move done, and Dustin has McLaren. Fantastic stuff indeed. Those hard compound tyres are struggling so much here. Here comes Reflection as well now. Reflection's going to be interested in getting past his teammate for P7 as well. But look at the moves being made on those drivers in the hard compound tyres. Beast is still hanging on somehow. He's in P4. We've seen him had a few issues there on those 17-lap-old hard compound tyres, but Potstuff seems to be struggling more on 10-lap-old hards somehow. But unfortunately for Potstuff there, it's not going too well at this stage. I think the strategy was right there to pit for the medium compound tyres, as the majority of the field did under that safety car. Beast has got himself through somehow on Equaz there. That was a great move indeed, because I didn't see what happened there. I think Equaz might have made a mistake there coming around sector 4. We saw Bradford have a bit of a spin as well. It looks like the car is a bit unsettled for the time being. The Aston Martin just getting himself back underway. You've got yellow flag once again for an Alfa Romeo. It is Cassell off the circuit, unfortunately for the other Alfa Romeo. Not a good time indeed for him, but potentially can get a set of soft compound tyres on and go for the fastest lap point as well, which will get himself and his team an extra point indeed. Dan Murphy's been passed by Fandro. Fandro going around the inside. On the outside is Dan Murphy. Now turns to the inside for turn 2, but Fandro's got the traction, got the move done this time around the exit of turn 2, and he's got up into P10. Points paying position now for the Haas driver. Good stuff indeed. He's got himself back into the realms of the points paying positions. Smithy's back in the pits, I think, again to put on the soft compound tyres to go for that fastest lap point. There is only 6 laps remaining at the end of this lap, so we're almost there, guys and boys and girls, I should say. But it has been an exciting one indeed. Here comes Reflection now. I think Reflection just all over the back of his teammate. Doesn't look like Potstuff. He might just be able to get some DRS here from Florin. Just about, I think he has. So that is good news indeed, because that can help him, of course, pull him along and use the DRS to defend from the attackers behind. I'm not sure who the yellow flag was for there. It might have been Cassell again or Cartboy. It looks like Cartboy's had a problem, unfortunately, at the exit of turn 6. So turn 7, I should say. But luckily he's got himself back going once again. But here we go then into the final few laps of the race now. Nigel has got a fantastic lead there, a 3.5 second lead over Farf. And Beast is doing a great job actually at the moment in P3. Equaz there coming back at him now into turn 1. Can he make that move? Beast has been passed once again for P3, and Equaz now gets himself into the final podium place there in the Aston Martin, having made a recovery there after I think it was a spin there in sector 3 on the last lap. He's got himself back up into the podium places, and now Beast is going to be I think he's going to be actually worried about Brabbit, to be honest. Brabbit, I think, is going to be the challenger behind him rather than looking to go forward and get back into the podium places from ahead of Equaz. But here we go then. Beast doing half a job on those hard, says Sirius Martin. He is doing half a job. He's done 19 laps. He's got to do another 5 laps on there. I think he's going to do 24, 25 in total on those hard compound tyres, which probably is doable just about. But of course, when everyone's got fresher medium compound tyres around you, that is not good news. Potstuff is off the circuit there. He's had a problem. I'm not sure if there was a helping hand there for Potstuff, but he's had a spin there, unfortunately, coming through the exit of turn 6 and 7, and that is him off the circuit, out of the points. I think the next option, the best option for him now, is to go onto those that was close indeed. Go on to those soft compound tyres as well, as Cassell's got past Potstuff as well. Like I said, Bradford has just got the fastest lap of the race so far, so then there's an extra point going towards Bradfield as it stands at the moment. But Beast, like you said, Serious Mushroom is doing a fantastic job. He's doing that. He's doing a great job indeed on those 20 lap hold hards now. He's got DRS on Equaz. Can he make a move into turn 1? I think he's too far back at this stage. He's as Equaz there is harvesting ERS. A yellow flag. I think it was for Bradfield there. Just getting himself back underway. But he has of course got that fastest lap. So all he needs to do now is stay in this race, and he will be able to get that extra point for himself and his team. Of course, doesn't matter if he as long as he finishes on the circuit, he's in the car, then he will get that extra point regardless of whether he is in P17 or P1. Farf driver of the day says Serious Mushroom. I don't know about that. We can't have that, can we? We'll have a look at the position changes very quickly. So yeah, Farf is up 10 places. Nigel's up 5 places as well, as is Equaz. So both all the top 3 doing a great job, to be fair. Dan Murphy's up 9 places as well, starting the P19. He's got himself up into the points paying positions as well. Smithy Almighty steals that fastest lap point on lap 28 for Smithy, that is. So good stuff indeed. But there is the position changes at the moment. I'd have to say both, well, top 3 really doing a fantastic job in my opinion. Nice to see Florin doing well as is Reflection as well, P6 and P7. Bradford picked up a penalty there for speeding in the pit lane. I think just trying to get another set of softs on it in haste so he can get to that fastest lap point. And yeah, like I said, all the drivers, they're doing a fantastic job so far as well in this race, who are still in the race as well. Bradfield, Smithy and Potstaff, Cassell as well are going for the fastest lap points in P14 down to P17, so there's still all to play for that extra point for themselves. So credit to them for sticking at it. But Brabbit there trying to get himself now in the realms of P4. Smithy's got a 3-second penalty, unfortunately, for speeding. Not speeding, he's just had a bit of track limits there, unfortunately, for the Williams driver. But yeah, Beast there, I think 20 laps. Let's have a look at the tyres still once again. 21 laps now on those hard combat tyres. At some stage, do you reckon they're going to pop? I don't know, because here comes Fandro now up into P7. Now he's recovering himself very nicely indeed. Reflection picks up a penalty there. That's big news for Reflection. That could drop him out of the points potentially. I think D-Max got a penalty as well, so that might mean that Reflection is just about safe for the time being. Yellow flag once again in Sector 2. That is a Alfa Romeo off the circuit again. Unfortunately, it's not going well for the Alfa Romeos. Like I said earlier, well, it was going well, all right, because of course Bradford had an extra point for the fastest lap. I think Smithy has nicked that on, like I said, lap 28, but we'll have to come back to that and obviously see how that unfolds and who's going to get that extra point, of course, at the end of the race. But so far, it's been an absolute epic. It's a 3-second gap now to Farf. Equaz has dropped off the back now. It looks like both the Alpha Tauris are in prime position to get a 1-2 finish here in Spain, which will be an absolutely epic result for them. Beast, still doing a good job of clinging onto the DRS range of Equaz, but here comes Fandro getting himself up into P6 now. Florin dropping down into P7, and that Haas driver of Fandro is doing a great job. Beast is off the circuit again. He's off the circuit at turn 2. That is him done and dusted in this race. He's out of the points, which is good news for some drivers because, of course, the penalties will mean that they can still stay in the points. But Beast there having a troubled time is down into P12 unfortunately now, and he's been passed. Oh, he's been unlapped by Alfa Romeo there. But yeah, unfortunately there for Beast, not a good time indeed at the moment. He had a great qualifying. He's had 2 great appearances so far. Of course, in Miami last week, he qualified P2 and finished P2 as well. But so far he qualified here in P3, but he's not had as good a race unfortunately in this one. So hopefully he can bounce back in the next one. Like I said, get himself back in the pits and get a fastest lap point put for himself and his team. No doubt. Shame that for Beast. Yeah, I think that maybe pushing those tyres too hard. Potentially, there's a puncture there. Maybe it was a puncture we didn't see. No, he seems to be all right. It's just a bit of loss of traction. I think those tyres must be too worn out to get himself to the end of the race, to get himself round turn 2. I think that is. But yeah, nonetheless, he's still going great guns indeed. But hopefully, he can get himself back to the pits at least to get himself to the finish line. But here comes Nigel there. I think Nigel now taking it easy now. He's lost another half a second to his teammate of Farf. But I think he doesn't have to push at this stage of the race. He's done 32 laps here as Reflection and Florin battling away into turn 2, and he's there's no moves made. I don't think as Florin there has dropped off the back now of Fandro. Fandro is really pushing as hard as he can as Bradford picks up another 3-second penalty unfortunately for him. Beast is into the pits now. He's got himself into the box. But yeah, unfortunately for Beast, it's going to be having to put the soft combat tyres on, at least go for the consolation point. But there is still that available to him, of course. Reflection He's going to get himself up. He's going to be battling, of course, for that last points paying position, I think, at this stage of the race, because, of course, the penalties, the penalty with his 3 second will be added on to his race time at the end of this race, as will D-Max as well. D-Max has got a penalty to be added on also. But here comes, let's have a look and see if Brabbitt now up into P4, has got himself through the order after Beast having that spin. He's now up into P4. He's within the realms of getting into the DRS range as well of Equaz for potentially a podium place. So that could be exciting him very much indeed. Can he get himself around the final corner? He can, and the DRS is going to be activated very shortly as well. But we're on the final lap now. So the final lap, this is the last opportunity for anybody to make their overtakes. So let's have a look and see. I don't think there's going to be any overtakes unless there's a mistake for P1 or P2. But we'll come back to that one. Brabbitt's got himself very close indeed to the Aston Martin now in P3, and Fanjo's keeping them honest as well in P5. Fanjo's done a great job of recovering. Of course, he spun on the, I think it was a few laps ago now, but he's got himself back into the points paying positions. He's got 10 points under his belt so far, and that is only a 15-point loss there to Nigel, which could have looked a lot worse. Potentially, it looked like 25 points to be fair when he did make that spin. But now a great recovery indeed from the Haas driver. Has got himself back up into P5. Potentially there is more points on offer if he can get a late move on the Mercedes or the Aston Martin, and the Aston Martin as well. But now down the mini straight, here he comes now. DRS is activated, ERS is activated, but he's too far back. Unfortunately, it's not long enough that straight, even with the reprofiled turn 9. But we'll come back to that one then, as we've got, here comes an AlphaTauri. He's got a nice escort there of a Williams there. Cassell sets the fastest lap of the race on lap 32. Fantastic stuff for Cassell. That would be an extra point for himself, of course, if he crosses the line with that point as well. Nigel crosses the line to win the Spanish Grand Prix of Silver Season 5. A fantastic race indeed from Nigel. He got a good call there with the safety car. His teammate of Favre has got a great call indeed there, getting himself P2, a 1-2 for AlphaTauri. They've made contact there as they go down towards turn 1, which is classic Favre. But a 1-2 there for AlphaTauri, absolutely fantastic indeed. Really good race there from Nigel and from Favre. Nigel there starting P6. Favre there starting, where did he start? He started miles away. P12 there was Favre. Good stuff indeed from him. But what a race indeed from both the AlphaTauri boys. 1-2 for the first 1-2 of the ALR season, if I'm correct, of the entire divisions as well. That is not just silver. That is the first 1-2 of the ALR season. Equaz there finishing in P3, of course, third in the standings as well. Cements his position, I think, in P3. Good stuff indeed. Brabbitt there in P4. Well done to him. Fanjo, a great recovery there. Only 1/10 off of P4 in the end as well. Good stuff indeed from him. Florin there in P6. Great result for the Florin as well, getting back to his usual ways of getting some good points. Dopey Lemons in P7, Dan Murphy in P8, good points for him as well. Craigar in P9, Reflection did get that final points paying position in P10. DMAC there in P11, Cartboy in P12, Pot Stuff P13. Beast there did get the fastest lap point on the final lap there, I think. And then Cassell there is off the circuit there, having a bit of problems there, but he finishes in P15. Smith Hill Mighty will finish P16, and Bradfield there P17. So blimey, that is a... Yeah, we have finished there. So I'm not quite sure what happened there. It sort of froze. But great stuff indeed from all the drivers there. First 1-2 of the season. Hate to say it, but far driver of the day, says Ginger Rage. Yes, okay. Well, there we'll have to deal with that in the Discord, of course. But yeah, great racing indeed from the majority of the drivers there. Really good stuff indeed. A really entertaining race as well. Moves all over the field once again, as we've always seen from Silver. But there we go. Then an AlphaTauri 1-2 as Nigel there celebrates his first place. Another win for Nigel as well in this season. That cements his championship lead, increases his championship lead, no doubt. And that is good news for himself and AlphaTauri. They're getting the podium place, another podium place as well. 1-2 for them with Farth in P2. It's going to be very pleased in that. I didn't get all the points, of course, because fastest lap was not available to them. They got it was Beast, I think, who got that on the last lap for the Ferrari team. But nonetheless, I don't think they'll be that worried about that extra point. I think they've done a great job there, getting themselves into 1-2 on the podium, and of course Equaz there as well into P3, starting in 8th place as well. Done a great job there with a 2-stop. Of course, switching to the mediums under the safety car at the last few laps. Brabbitt there in P4, great stuff indeed from him as well. Fanjo there recovering after a spin to get himself back into P5. Florin there into P6 as well, good stuff from him. Dopey Lemons there had a bit of a difficult start, and I think that's what cost him for the rest of the race. That was Dopey Lemons out into P7. Dan Murphy got himself up from 19th to P8. Craigar into P9 as well. Craigar from P20 on the grid there. A fantastic race indeed, actually. I think he might be my candidate as well for driver of the day. Reflection in the final points paying position in P10 in the Red Bull. D-Mac just outside the points in P11. Cartboy then, Pot Stuff, Ultimate Beast in P14 with the fastest lap point as well. Cassell there in P15, Smithy in P16 in the Williams, and Bradfield there in P17. Unfortunately, retirements were Kia, Tango and V-Todd did not get to the end of this race. Blimey, that was good. But yeah, right, good stuff indeed. Hopefully we can get the drivers in for an interview. We'll have to wait. Fingers crossed they can get themselves in. We'll bear with us whilst we just wait to see if anybody's going to add anybody or somebody's going to jump into the party. We'll find out. Nobody's joined. Nobody's joining me. That's not good. Let me add some people, and we'll come back to this one. Bear with me 1 second. It'd be helpful if somebody did this for me, but nonetheless, I'll try and do it myself now. Nigel, I think Farf is already in here, isn't he? But he probably won't join anyway. And who was the last one? It was Equaz, wasn't it? So there we go. Right, get yourselves in the party. Good stuff indeed. And I need to turn on my mic because my mic's not working either, is it? Good stuff. Right, hopefully everyone can hear me and you can hear the drivers as well. We've got, I don't think Equaz has joined us. We'll start from P1. Nigel, how are you and how was that race for yourself?
Yeah, it was a pretty intense race, I think. The beginning of the half on the hard tires, it was a very difficult race because I was stuck behind pot stuff, but at the end it pays off.
No, it was absolutely epic from you as well. And I think the safety car, did the safety car help you? It came out at the right time, the first one?
Yes and no. I wanted to lap on the pit on lap 19, and the safety car was of course helping, but at the end I think my tire choice was the fastest one.
Right,
And the car, of course.
Got you the win in the end, so can't complain, I suppose. And your teammate
Yes.
there in P2, what was your thoughts when you saw him behind you after when the second safety car came out?
Yeah, really amazing. I saw he started on P12, so really amazing to finish second and double 1-2, of course. Really great points for the team.
Good stuff indeed. And we've got a bit of a break now. We've done the first quarter of the season. We've still got 3/4 of it to go, of course, but that won't be starting until January now. We've got a bit of a break week, our winter break. So what's your, we'll ask you what your thoughts are for Monaco next year.
Doing the same as always. Just driving and winning, hopefully.
Good stuff. All right, that's all right. And we'll go to a very short interview now with Farf. Farf, how was your race? Did you like it?
Yeah.
Good stuff indeed. And yeah, your best result of the season so far. How did you feel when you crossed the line in P2?
Just thankfully for the spins of Equaz and Fangio helped me. Otherwise, I reckon I would have lost it.
Well, it came to you somehow, so that's all right. Unfortunately, it won't happen to you again, so never mind. But fantastic 1-2 result there for the AlphaTauri team. Yeah, so looking forward to seeing what AlphaTauri, of course, can do in Monaco in about 4 weeks' time now, just under 4 weeks' time. Of course, we'll be back in January. I think it's the 9th of January is the Monday that we'll be back for Monaco. Of course, the Sunday before then we'll be back for gold. So stay tuned to ALR. We've got a bit of a winter break coming up, but of course tomorrow night we've got bronze coming up as well, back in Spain, and then the 100% League will be taking on Belgium as well on Wednesday night. So plenty more action still to come in ALR before the Christmas break. But stay tuned and yeah, watch out for more action on the ALR YouTubes. See you soon.